Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond ARTV. It's time for another installment of Hate It or Love It, a series where I talk about reasons why people either love or hate a certain band or else artist, or I suppose public figure. I haven't done that one yet, but I'm sure I will in the future. Today we are talking about the punk rock band? We'll go into that in just a minute as one of the reasons, but we're going to be talking about 4 reasons why people hate the band Green Day. Now, obviously, you guys that watch my channel or else my main channel, ARTV, know that I am a massive fan of these guys, and these obviously are not my opinions. These are ones that I have gathered from just being a fan over the years, seeing what people say online, or even what people have told me as viewers as to why they either hate them or really dislike them. And a lot of these reasons I just don't feel are valid. Some, I guess I understand where they're coming from, but we're just going to have to go through and just kind of piece by piece either take apart or try to see what's going on here. But before we get into the video today, I wanted to quickly shout out TAD, an app that I'm on. I haven't talked about it a ton on this channel. I know I have on the main channel, but I just wanted to give it a quick mention for those who would like to help support ARTV. Basically, all you do, install the app. It's obviously free for Android or iPhone users, and then you can watch ads to support ARTV. What you do is that you earn TADs on the app, and once you reach 500, you can earn up to 500 TADs per day. You transfer them over to ARTV, and every 500 is worth 50 cents in an actual donation to me, which is crazy to think about. Just if you had one person doing that every single day of the month, if you did that, then that would be $15 a month, actually, just from one person doing that. That would be crazy. That would help out so much during these harder times, during the adpocalypse and that sort of thing. YouTube doesn't like to put ads on my channel half the time, so if you're able to support, download the app at the second link. I'm putting this one first just because it's the biggest case that I see against Green Day. Oh, Green Day aren't punk rock. And I know, people in the comments are already going to be like, oh, this is coming from the dude in the Sum 41 shirt. Really? He's going to defend what punk rock is? No, punk rock is what you make it. It's a mindset, and to be so exclusive, I hope it's fun. I hope it's fun up there in your ivory tower looking down at the people of the kingdom, because you're better than everybody else and you cannot have your punk contaminated. That sounds an awful lot like segregation to me, and I don't like that. I don't like segregation in my music. If you want to listen to whatever you want to listen to, that's fine, and people shouldn't be considered out of the punk community or kicked out of Gilman Street like Green Day did just because they go a little bit more of a commercial route. Now with Green Day, obviously they were seeing a ton of success with their opening record, 39 Smooth, Slappy Hours. Everything was really taking off for them. They were playing shows at Gilman Street and other various venues in the Bay Area, and people weren't exactly liking the fact that they actually released an album to very much commercial success. Lookout Records originally signed them in the early 90s. They put out Kerplunk, and that thing was starting to sell well. And then, of course, came the album that changed everything. Their diamond certified magnum opus Dookie that came out in '94, and after that, they were banned from Gilman Street. And it's ironic how it's turned around now that Gilman Street embraces them. The venue almost closed. Billy Joe Armstrong helped save the venue, and his son has been seen playing there, Joey, and his other son, Jacob Danger, as well, I believe. And that's very, very cool to see that punk is starting to open its arms a little bit more. But I've just seen so much hate towards Green Day because, oh, they're a pop punk band, they're an alternative band, they're pretending to be punk rock. If you're looking so hard to classify something under a certain genre, then, I don't know, look to a band that actually doesn't have talent and actually doesn't have what it takes. Green Day have charisma, an amazing personality as a band, and they play so tightly. And we'll get into some of these other reasons in just a minute, but I have to definitely, obviously, defend them here. They definitely have their roots in punk. They bleed punk, and a lot of their music still to this day, even with their most recent album, Revolution Radio, is still punk rock influenced. Number 2, I have seen going on entirely all too much. They think that they're too political. That's the second reason that people are hating Green Day. It seems like Green Day fans that are claiming to have been fans for decades, and they're like, I can no longer be a fan of this band. Where have you been for the past decade or two? American Idiot? Does that ring a bell to you? And even before that, there were really political nods all over Nimrod and even Insomniac. I don't know where you were during those moments. Even Warning, obviously Minority was a huge supercharge there. Are you just deaf or are you just dumb, not paying attention whatsoever? People who hate Green Day for being too political is like hating somebody for expressing who they are and what their opinions are. Green Day have always been outspoken against hate, against violence, and against war in particular. And obviously with Donald Trump in office, Billy Joe and the guys aren't gonna take it lightly. They're not just gonna sit there and just be like, well, you know, it is what it is. He's gonna run the country, blah, blah, blah. Punk rock has always been against the government, especially the government that's not doing its job correctly and being super corrupt. So if Green Day speaking out against that, saying things like fuck Donald Trump, and obviously the whole thing that they did, the little chant that I will show you a clip of whenever they did their performance. If you're one of those people saying shut up and play the music, then you are an absolute moron. Them playing their music is political still. Did you hear 21st Century Breakdown, American Idiot, or definitely some of the songs on Revolution Radio? And now you're saying, oh, I'm no longer a fan because they keep talking about the politics on their Facebook or their Instagram or whatever. Seriously, grow a pair and learn to listen and pay attention. If you're really that offended, you never should have been a fan in the first place. Number 3, all of their music sounds the same. Now, to this point, people are saying that, oh, they all have the same old bass tone, and Mike Dirnt just slapping away. Trey's drums are nothing interesting whatsoever. Cool behind the kit isn't a maniac. He isn't talented. He's just playing the same things over and over. Billy Joe's just up there playing power chords, and it's just the same song structure. You got your song, and then you got your verse, then you've got your chorus, verse, chorus, guitar solo, bridge, end of the song. And to that, I would say it's not about the formula, it's about how you play the formula. And yes, a lot of their songs definitely do follow that, and I think that was probably the weakest element of the trilogy, and I can see where people are coming from there. But like I said, it's about what you do with that formula. The sounds that emanate from that guitar, or that bass tone, or the lyrical content, it can all be different every single time. And while some of the songs definitely carry a similar theme or else message, not every song is the same whatsoever. And people screaming that, I feel like just do not want to give Green Day the chance. Not whatsoever. They just want to hate on them. They want to just say, hey, I heard 5 songs. I heard Holiday, I heard something from the trilogy, and I heard that new one, Bang Bang, and it's all the same old stuff. They've been doing it since the 90s. Green Day have reinvented themselves several times. They've gone through their rock opera phase, and now they are back stronger than ever as a group. And to the people who would just say it all sounds the same, I would have to argue you need to listen to all of their albums. The final reason that we're going to talk about today is the sellout thing. That's right, this is obviously an accusation of a lot of people. With Green Day, it was very intense. Going back to our very first point where I talked about them not being punk rock because they went a little bit mainstream, and by a little bit, I mean a lot. I understand, I guess the mentality was very different in the late 80s and 90s and the scene that they grew up in, and obviously the term sellout meant just signing to a major label and just getting your music played to a lot of people. You were supposed to stay DIY, you were supposed to stay local and support it, instead of going on tour, moving away, and being huge rock stars. And Green Day did that. They had the merch, they had the shows, they had the budget, they had the albums, the recording contract for millions of dollars and millions of fans, and obviously people who saw them at the start were not happy with that. And still to this day, that term is thrown around so much because it's like if Green Day used their song in a movie, like in the Twilight film, their song The Forgotten was used from the album Trey. That's something that was just harshly rained down upon by fans, I feel like, even ones that were kind of on the fence, and they unjustly kind of served justice upon them by saying, you know what, we're not okay with this, we hate this, we don't want you making any money off of anything, you do not use things. And while some things have been a bit excessive in terms of promoting the records, like the partnerships with AT&T and Angry Birds during the trilogy, I think that they've kind of honed in, learned to dial it back a notch, and even if they are doing things like that, I think it's really their call, as long as they're not taking advantage of fans, which I don't feel that they've ever done. then I don't see the problem with it. What do you guys think? Why do people hate Green Day? Do you agree with the reasons that I've found online? Do you have any others to add to it? And what do you think about the points that they raised? Do you think that they're right, or would you argue some of the same points that I did? Let me know in the comment section down below, and don't forget to leave a like on the video while you're here. Don't forget to check out those top 2 links if you're able to support me on either Patreon or else on TAD. My Patreon you can go directly to by tapping right there in the corner. You can see a Green Day themed video right here. In fact, all of my Green Day themed videos right here, or else another video from the channel that I think you might enjoy. Socials in the description, and I'll see you very soon right here on Beyond ARTV.